Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you a software to automate all your online bookkeeping when running your Shopify store. Now this software is specifically designed for Shopify owners. So what this software does before we jump onto the computer is this software basically you can add in all your expenses, your product costs, your merchant fees, your payment processor fees, and all other fees or expenses that go alongside with your Shopify store. So your main expense is probably going to be cost of goods and marketing. Those are going to be the two most expensive things that are going to take up most of the profit margins. And then you're gonna have the revenue and you subtract everything from there. So I'm gonna jump on the computer now and I'm gonna show you how this software works and how this software basically automates all your bookkeeping. Now, it's super important to have all your books organized because when it comes to taxes, you don't want to mess around. You don't want to have the IRS knocking on your door, sending you letters that you owe thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. So it's better to get it right the first time, spend the extra money and get this software than not have any software and using Google Sheets. It saves time and the cost for it is literally a fraction of what you could be making using that time saved instead of using a Google Sheet. So without further ado, let's jump onto the computer. I'm going to show you this software in detail and I'm going to show you how to use it, and then I'm going to give you a recommendation if you should use this software as well. Let's go. Alright guys, we're back on the computer now. So I'm inside the Shopify App Store and you can see I basically searched up profit tracking. So there are a few of profit tracking apps for Shopify, as you can see, but the one that I'll be using inside this demonstration is going to be TrueProfit. Now with TrueProfit, they do have a 14-day free trial, and then it's going to be $19.95 a month. So for $20, it does all your accounting for you, and then you can hand the exact numbers off to your accountant. Or if you're filing manually, this saves a lot of time and organizes everything so you don't get messy numbers, and you know the exact numbers of your profit margins and how much you profited, because revenue is one number and expenses is one number, and a lot of times people flex revenue numbers, but in the back end they actually only profited like a few $100s. So it's very funny. A lot of people are flexing huge numbers, but their profit margins are very, very low and very slim. So with TrueProfit, we're going to get the exact true profit, quite ironic, of our Shopify store. So once you add this app to your store, it's going to be something like this. So obviously yours is not going to look exactly like this with all the numbers. There is a setup process that I won't be showing inside this video, but it's very self-explanatory. You basically just need to connect it to your store and then set up a few parameters depending on like things like your payment processor, if you're using Stripe or Shopify Payments or some other payment processors that have different fees. So inside of Profit and now Analytics, you can see what this dashboard looks like. On the top, first of all, you can export all your data, so this makes it super easy for accounting. Inside of this little drop down arrow, you can have different data that you want to fetch, like you want to fetch partial refunded transactions, you want to fetch unpaid transactions, or some other filters that you may want to add. And then over here we have the date range, and it is basically, if you select this, you can do last year, this month, this year, all the different date ranges. You can go ahead and click, and then it will give you the exact revenue numbers and everything. So once you select the date range, inside of revenue, you can see how much you generate for that day. For this example is 1 day. And then inside total costs, you can see, if you just hover over this, it shows you the cost of good, the shipping costs, handling fees, transaction fees, custom spend, and ad spend. So there's a lot of fees going on in the background for a Shopify store, and there are a lot of other fees like app fees that I try to include in here. But what it does when you include app fees is when you set a monthly fee, it decides to add, like let's say Luke's reviews is $20. I don't know forgot what the exact cost is. Let's say it's $20. It's gonna basically divide $20 up in the number of days, and then it's gonna add it to your total cost for that day. So it is good and bad. Some people don't want to see the little cents every single day, but it's actually good because it shows you how much these little apps cost per day as the cost adds up, so you can stay profitable. It gives you a good idea. So inside net profit, it basically is going to take your revenue plus tips, if your store accepts tips, minus the total cost, which is once again all the cost of goods, shipping costs, transaction fees, apps fees, and it's going to also minus taxes from it. So this is your net profit in dollar amounts or whatever currency that you're using, and then it's going to show you the net margin for that specific time that you selected. So you can see 50.79%, and then inside order summary you can see how many orders you got, the ad spend per order, the average order value, the average profit margin, total tips, shipping charge, total taxes, and how much you refunded. So inside profit analytics, it gives you basically all the profit and how much you're spending on your store. But just if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see spend details. Inside spend details, you can see the exact spend that you're using for your advertising platform. So you can see I've connected Google and Bing. So Bing spent like 45 cents and Google spent $10.91. And you can add more. I believe they have Pinterest and some other that you can add. But in this total ad spend, it basically gives you how much you spent for the total day. And how they're calculating this is that you actually are going to connect your Google ads account or your Facebook ad account or your Bing, Snapchat, TikTok to TrueProfit, and it's going to give you live updates of how much profit you're making. And then over here you can see the cost of goods, transaction fees, the custom cost. So inside this menu, this is basically all you need to use it for, is to see the profit for your store currently for the date range that you selected. So inside product analytics, it's basically going to load all your products, and it's going to give you the profit margin, the cost of goods, and then it's going to give you how many views, how many add to carts it got, and how many orders it got. So, and then you can sort from how many views it got to like how many units it sold. So that is really cool. And then you can select the date range as well up here, and then you can also search for the product name, export this. Inside settings, you can connect your Google Analytics. So those are the two tabs so far. And then inside lifetime value, you can see how many customers you got, the purchase rate, the lifetime value, and then lifetime value versus CAC. Don't quite remember what that is. So inside of the lifetime value, shows you a lot of information about how many purchases and how much revenue you're doing each month. And then inside of lifetime value, in this, it's going to show you how much the cost to acquire a customer. So this is all good information for you to know. And inside cost settings, you can basically set your cost of goods. So if you have a set profit margin for each product, then you can use this slider to change it. But for most products, you probably want to just go down here and set the manually set the cost of goods, so it gives you the exact calculations, and it's going to give you the profit margin that you're making per sale. Inside of other cost settings, we have shipping. If you have free shipping, this is super easy, but if you have flat rate shipping rates, then you can add shipping rates, so it's very simple to use. Inside transaction fees, it's basically very simple as well. If you use PayPal, then you're gonna input the formulas that PayPal has. Now if you are using any third-party payment processors, at least on the basic Shopify store plan, you're gonna be charged an additional 2% on top for using the external gateway. So if you upgrade Shopify plans, that is going to lower depending on the plan you upgrade to. But if you're using Shopify payments, it's going to be 0%. So I highly recommend you use Shopify payments if it's supported in your country and you're okay with the holds. So inside of this, it has basically the integrations with the ad accounts. So you have Facebook, you have Google, you have Bing, you have Snapchat, and then you have TikTok. So that is all pretty simple to use. And then inside custom spend, you can add in custom spend like the different apps that you're using. And then variable cost is basically just a one-time cost that you can add right here. Fixed cost is basically like monthly apps, or your G Suite subscription, or any other monthly recurring costs that you have for your Shopify store. So inside store settings is basically pretty simple. You can actually you can change your email support, and that is pretty much it for TrueProfit. At least this is how you set up profit tracking and your revenue and your expenses to be tracked. Now, if you enjoyed this video in this demonstration of how to use TrueProfit, if you're not using TrueProfit already for your store, definitely get it started. Once you start to make $100 revenue a day at least, then definitely consider getting this, because it's going to save you a lot of time with bookkeeping as you start to scale up your store. So if you enjoyed this video and found any value, make sure you smash the like button and click subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.